Let's talk about the NFL notebook. I hate to say this. I think John Lynch is going to have a miserable season with the 49ers. They have so many injuries, and they've had to shed so many veteran players because of salary cap problems. They don't have any wide receivers. Everybody's hurt. I mean, their top two guys right now are Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings, and those guys haven't practiced nor played. And they both got injuries. Could be out 2 weeks, could be out 6 weeks with those guys. They just made a trade. I don't understand this trade. They traded for Washington's leading rusher, Brian Robinson. They gave up a draft pick. Robinson has had 3 pretty productive years in a bad Washington situation, but he wants to play. But they got Christian McCaffrey. What do you need Brian Robinson for? If I'm going to spend my currency, some of my late draft picks, I would have gone to get more wide receiver help than I would have anything else. I just don't think that they're going to have a good season in Frisco. They got so many guys hurt. They did make a trade to get a wide receiver, but he's not a proven commodity. Kansas City gave up on Sky Moore. He was a second-round draft pick 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Never able to crack the lineup. And he's a speed guy, but he's never been consistent. You know, they tried him at wide receiver. He dropped a bunch of balls, never got back on the field. Tried him a kick return. Well, he busted a few kicks, but he also fumbled the football. Anyhow, 49ers trade for Brian Robinson, which I didn't think they needed, and they trade for Sky Moore. Maybe the coaching staff can fix what's wrong. This kid came out of Western Michigan. I thought this is a budding star, and he showed flashes. Hasn't done it consistently. Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy is your starting quarterback. Minnesota traded the guy that was the backup, Sam Howell. He had a terrible preseason. Howell's a former Washington commander, played well as a part-time starter, went to Minnesota, was a backup last year. They got rid of him. They traded him to the Eagles. And then they signed Carson Wentz, who's been in and out of the NFL the last couple of years. Ex-Colt, ex-Eagle. He's been around the block. I think he's been with 6 teams now. Carson Wentz is going to be the backup quarterback if anything happens to J.J. McCarthy. So I thought that was a really strange move by Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. In Cleveland, on one street corner, they think the quarterback of the future should be Dylan Gabriel, even though Joe Flacco will be the other starter. On the other street corner in Cleveland, they're screaming, saying you didn't give Shadur Sanders a fair shake.
Yeah.
So Sanders is staying on the roster. They got 4 quarterbacks on their roster for opening day, which is just really stunning. Sanders had a really bad last exhibition game. In the first preseason game he played, it was scramble ball. He was throwing it all over the place, and he looked really athletic. He took some terrible sacks, threw balls into coverages, made some pass plays. He gets into the game this past weekend for Cleveland. He had 11 dropbacks. He took 5 sacks. Jeez. 5 sacks and 11. I mean, I think he threw for 5 yards total. I mean, it was really, really poor. So one street corner in Cleveland says Dylan Gabriel is going to be the guy. Gabriel's thrown for 129 and 149 in his 2 appearances in preseason. The other street corner says you guys haven't been fair to Shadur Sanders. So that's the storyline there. Dallas Cowboys. Soap opera. You like soap operas?
In sports, they're great. It keeps us going, man.
I don't understand this whole Micah Parsons thing. So Parsons shows up on the sidelines for the Cowboys' last preseason game, and he's been there for all the games, even though he's not practicing because of this contract dispute with Jerry Jones. He shows up. He deletes any reference to the Cowboys on every social media platform he's on. He's on all of them. Nothing related to the Cowboys. You're looking for it right there. Nothing related to the Cowboys. He shows up, and he doesn't wear any Cowboy gear. He wears a crummy old gray sweatshirt like the one you have in the closet back there. And then he lays on the trainer's table and falls asleep. You talk about amazing disrespect to your team and your teammates during a game.
Yeah, that's just childish.
Yeah. So Brian Schottenheimer is going to meet with him today. They're going to settle it in-house, but there's a real attitude adjustment that has to occur with Micah Parsons. And he's a great football player. And they offered him a lot of money. And Jerry Jones got pissed off finally and said, listen, we've offered him to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league with a lot of guaranteed money. You agree to this, sign the deal. And if you don't sign the deal, then you owe us 3 years. And I said, what do you mean he owes you 3 years? Jerry Jones said, he owes us 3 years. Reporter said, how does he owe you 3 years? 1 year left on this contract, and we're going to franchise tag him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it's getting ugly.
Oh, big time. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, this has gone so far offline, and there's no need, no call for it. Cincinnati. How'd you enjoy that preseason at Paycor Stadium? Last 2 games the Bengals played, because there is no Trey Hendrickson. He's not playing. He's involved in this nasty contract dispute with Mike Brown, the owner, penny pincher. Their number 1 draft pick, who held out for a long time, finally got to camp and signed, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. He didn't do anything. The last 2 preseason games, the Bengals at home gave up 438 and 478 yards defensively.
Well, that's always been their problem, right?
And that's without Trey Hendrickson. Now you're going to start playing for real? And Hendrickson says, I'm not going to play unless you're going to take care of this contract extension. Just amazing. Tampa Bay. The word of the day, obesity. They drafted a defensive tackle out of Florida by the name of Desmond Watson. He was allowed to play last year at 476 pounds.
Holy crap.
At Florida. Now, he didn't play all the snaps, the heat and humidity and all that, but he was allowed to play. Tampa Bay brought him in. They knew that they had to undergo a massive weight training evaluation diet program with this kid. He never got on the practice field. He did not take part in the practices. He never got into a game. All he did was work with the trainers on diet, exercise, obviously weightlifting. I saw a picture of him. He's just massively big. Anyhow, they have a decision to make. What are they going to do with him? Because you can't carry dead weight on your roster.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Apologies in advance. His weight has gone from 476 prior to the draft down to 421, but they don't think he can play. He can't practice in the heat and humidity of Tampa, Florida. You know, there was a scary story years and years ago. Minnesota Vikings had a Pro Bowl tackle who was massively big, Corey Stringer, who died of heat stroke in practice in Minneapolis. And he was massively big. He might have been 360 pounds.
Well, how about this Becton kid for the Chargers? He's a big boy.
Yeah, exactly. So they got a tough decision to make. He's on PUP. What do? They put him on injured reserve, but he's not injured. He's got a weight problem. Do you put him on non-football illness? But he's not ill. He's just got a weight problem. So they got a problem with the union as what's going to happen to his contract, etc. So this bears watching to see what happens between now and Tuesday. Raider Nation, big setback. They're looking for a quarterback. You got any eligibility left?
No.
Raiders have lost Aiden O'Connell, fractured wrist.
That's too bad.
And he played really competitive, sprayed the ball all over the place. He did throw some interceptions in the Chip Kelly offense. He's gone down with a fractured wrist. They just operated on him yesterday. He's going to go probably 8 weeks. He's going to miss, I would assume, at least half the season. He'll probably start the season on injured reserve with the right of recall. You get a couple recalls. You can put all your injured players on IR, but you can only bring back 6, I think it is, during the course of the regular season. So they're looking for a backup quarterback. I would think maybe Tyler Huntley, the ex-Baltimore Raven, who's got more experience than anybody else that's out there.
Well, the Browns just released him, right?
Yes, he got released on Saturday. So I would assume they're still looking for a quarterback. So, John, 49ers, I don't understand the Vikes. Which street corner are you standing on screaming in Cleveland? You want to talk about Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones soap opera? The Bengals, go ahead.
You got to talk about Sanders. I mean, Shador and Shiloh, which you didn't even talk about Shiloh. That was another. I thought that was going to be the Buccaneers story.
He got released.
Yeah, he did. Did you see the clip on that? I mean,
hear the punch?
Well, but the other guy was like giving him the business the whole way, even after the whistle. There's a lot of people on Twitter that are convinced that the NFL has some sort of a conspiracy against Shador Sanders and Shiloh Sanders. And that's why the Browns wouldn't let Shador run the 2-minute drill in one of those games. They brought in Huntley when they knew they were going to cut him like the next day, So even you got crap on your commentary video that you did on Shador Sanders after preseason week 1, where he had that pretty nice outing.
Yeah, but it was a wild game, and you can't. But he's young. He need a lot of snaps. Now he probably would have gotten more snaps in preseason had he not had the oblique injury.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But, Dylan Gabriel does look really good. I mean,
looks polished.
you got to give him credit for that. I mean, but you think the Browns are going to have 4 quarterbacks on the active roster? So that, I mean, no team does that, right?
No, nobody in modern day, nobody's done it.
So they're going to have, not even on the practice schedule. Every one of those guys is technically eligible to play every week.
Well, you have to declare 1, 2, and 3 for your roster. Third guy can't play unless 1 and 2 are out and hurt.
Then what about fourth guy?
Fourth guy is probably inactive.
Inactive. Interesting.
Yeah. So the Shadur injury slowed the decision process down. Kid's too good an athlete just to put him out in the street and cut him. And the only way you get him on your developmental squad is you have to put him on waivers, and that means everybody else has a chance to claim him. So if he clears waivers, then you can take him, bring him back into the building and put him on developmental, which means he practices with a scout squad and you try to grow the game. But the problem is, if you see upside in the kid because of his athleticism and his football genes and his football intelligence, then you don't want to risk losing him out there. So,
well, what's going on with Kenny Pickett? I mean, wouldn't he be a PUP candidate?
Yeah. Hamstring.
But that could solve the logjam at least for 4 games.
But you have to make a decision somewhere down the line too.
Yeah.
And you're paying them money and you traded draft picks to get them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's a tough call. So that's where we are. Do you have a comment on how bad the 49ers season might be? Or are you going to solve the quarterback situation in Minnesota? Boy, if JJ McCarthy gets hurt, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. I mean, you said he hasn't started a game in the NFL. We've heard all these rave reviews about, camps and workouts last year, this year. I mean, I'm rooting for the kid, but yeah, the plan B, Carson Wentz, I know you can count on there.
Yep.
So, I mean, you look at all these teams. Also, the Micah Parsons thing, that's childish. I mean, I get it if you want to hold out. I understand that. You want to apply some leverage, but don't go disrespecting the team that you're going to want to play for, disrespecting your teammates while acting like a bum on the sidelines.
Yeah, and this guy's a Penn State guy. I mean, he's quality, classy. Why are you doing something like this?
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that.
Okay, that's all things NFL. Do you got an opinion? Feel free to join the conversation. Fans forum chat box is open for business.